if you could walk me through a, not even just a day, but like the process of being a director throughout the show. Like you start in prep, you have all these meetings, you do tone meetings where you talk about the tone of the show, you do shot lists and all this planning, then you get to the shoot days. And then I imagine you're also involved in some of the post-production stuff. What is that whole journey like for you, and how much are you planning ahead of time?
I kind of plan everything. So it's so funny. It's an emotional journey. It's literally an emotional journey that part of me, like the more I develop, like my directing style and everything is understanding that it is going to be an emotional roller coaster, right? So first you get the job. Yes, feeling awesome, right? Get the job. That's great. Oh, they liked me. I'm a good fit for the show. I'm excited to do this project. You're good, right? So you get
Can we actually just pause there though? Like, how do you get the job? Are you interviewing like a regular job interview? Or do you have an agent who's putting you up for things? How do you actually get the job?
every job's different. So you get the job. I would say word of mouth is a very common way that you get a job. Your reputation, your agent may have put you forward. I believe to get the job, three people have to have said your name, whether it's like an agent, whether it's an actor or a producer or like a word of mouth person, and some random person who happens to be in the office walking by me like, oh, Melanie Orr, I've heard of her, she's great. Like, it's a lot of that. It's your work, it's your body of work if it's in line with the show. And I've gotten jobs that I've had multiple interviews for, and gotten. I've had jobs that I've never even met with them, and they just offered me the show. And then I've had jobs where, I like all the different ways. So yeah, it's shocking. There's no clear path on how you get a job.
Yes,
We,
I definitely feel that. And I'm sure a lot of other creative fields are like that as well. So sorry to interrupt you. So
no, no, it's
once
okay.
you get the
But
job,
yeah, but you know what I'll also say? I'll say
yeah,
sometimes you don't get a job and you're like, what? How did I not get that? Like, that's
right.
insane. And then you find out sometimes they hired who they hired. You're like, what? That's insane. So, I mean, like, I think you have to take the good and the bad, right? Like, I don't know. For whatever reason, sometimes you don't get it. For whatever reason, sometimes you get it.
And I'm sure, maybe
Patient.
not with you, but I'm sure with me, many times when I have gotten the job, I've been the one that people are like, how did he get that?
Yeah, for sure. That
For
happens to me
sure.
too. Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, and again, like it's a variety of things. Again, back to that preparation and timing. It has a lot to do with that too,
Mm-hmm.
right? It does. Anyway, so let's say I get the first draft of the script, and I always want to read the first draft of the script without interruption, which means I'm rarely reading it the second I get it. It's like make sure one of my house is away or whatever. And so, I do the first draft, and of course, I have all these ideas or visuals come to me, and I write all these things down, and I feel like, oh, okay, this is going really great. Start the show, meet the people, and then you're just doing like, it's very like kind of like formulaic and prep. You're just like picking your locations, looking at the schedule, figuring out what you can do. How much money do you have? What do you have to cut? Are you long? Are you short? And so you're getting very creative in ways. That's kind of like the whittling down process. And during that time, I find like you start off being like, oh yeah, this is really awesome. Then you have a day you're like, what the heck? We can't do any of this stuff I want to do. You know what I mean? Like, and then you're like, oh, I have so many great ideas. And then a few days later, you're like, I have no good ideas. And it's literally this, um, I don't know, it's this roller coaster that you have. And then you're like, how did I even get this job? And then you're like, I got this job. Like it's an emotional roller coaster and you're kind of on your own. Like, yes, you have a team, you have like a first AD and you have a DP and, but like, you are responsible for the story and you're really honing in and working really hard at that. And then it
Just to
comes,
jump in, sorry, just
yeah,
for anyone who may not know, a first AD, first assistant director, sort of helping the director with sort of the logistical stuff. And then a DP is like essentially a cinematographer, helping with the lighting and shots and things like that. Sorry to
yeah.
interrupt.
No, no, that's great. Thanks for that. um, so yeah, so then I prep and I plan everything. Like I have a shot list, I have overheads, I have a story plan. I have thought a lot of, even figuring out how I'm going to block a scene. So blocking a scene is where the actors are going to be and what they're going to be doing, and then that informs what your shots are and what your coverage is all like a whittling down process, right? Like there's hopes and dreams in the beginning, and then it's reality closer to when you shoot. And I've basically just prepared myself for when I am going to have to pivot on every single thing I wanted to do because all these variables happen, which is fine, but that's part of the process, right? And that's what makes me very quick and quick on my feet and able to pivot because and answer questions because it's collaboration and people come up with like ideas or suggestions, and some will work and are great and some are not because you thought of it and it doesn't work because of XYZ, right? um and yeah, so then that's all the prep process. Then we're shooting. So shooting it's very intense. You're there, first one there every day, last one to leave, and you're probably the hungriest and the most tired all the time. So like a little thing I do, like I prep all my food. I bring all my food. I have this box, and when I'm hungry, I eat from my box because I can't make food decisions. And I like you start to learn in your career like what you need to be the most successful, right? And so that's part of that. And so during the day, let's say we're shooting anywhere from let's say like 5 to 10 scenes, depending. Every time there's a new scene, I read it through with the cast, then we block it. The DOP, the director of photography, and I discuss what our shots are going to be. Usually we involve the camera operators. We take a lot of like screen grabs of what those shots are. And then we shoot and we finish that scene. We move on to the next one. And it's really intense. And every day it's like, okay, here we go. Here we go. Let's do it. And every day you make it and every day you do it. And you're just like, how did that happen? And you do it again and again and again. And then after you finish shooting, usually about maybe a week or so after, I mean, this is television, obviously, I'm talking about, but you'll have the editor who's been cutting, like every day they get the footage from the day before and they're starting to cut the scenes together. And then you generally get the full cut maybe a week or so after you finish shooting. And then I go and I sit with the editor for a week and I edit the episodes together. And that's when you're like, obviously like working through any trauma maybe you had on the shoot. No, I'm joking.
You're not joking,
like,
though.
You're putting it all together. And then, like, I'm not joking. It's a lot of shaping of story constantly. Even for a writer, or showrunner or writer has written this episode, and then they're immediately told that they don't have enough money to make that episode. So then they have to like whittle it down. Even on bigger budget stuff, they're still condensing locations, cutting some scenes. As a director, I have like hopes and dreams. I'm going to do all this like big stuff. Oh, now we can't do that, or we can only do this on this certain day. And you're constantly whittling it down. Then you're shooting and you're pivoting all the time, and you're keeping your story, fighting to keep that story that you want to tell and keep those visuals that you want. And then in editing, now you're like the final stage of like the storytelling where it's all facts in front of you and you're just shaping it to make it the strongest episode that you can.
Oh, that was a really detailed but succinct
explanation. Is it too detailed?
No, it was great. It really lays out exactly what happened. So it was really, I'm sure anyone who's like an aspiring director would find that really helpful.